Hello world, Shelly here, and it's time for another episode of Foundation Fest, and today I am checking out from e.l.f. the Halo Glow Skin Tint Mineral Sunscreen. Someone's delivering something at my front door. Turn that off. Bad YouTuber, bad YouTuber. SPF 50 Mineral Sunscreen. It is 12% zinc oxide. I've got this in the shade Light Cool number 6. And this retails for $18 for 1 fluid ounce or 30 milliliters of product. Comes in 18 different shades. I gotta say, I was lamenting the price. $18. e.l.f. Remember when you used to be able to, or at least as someone who reviews foundations, used to be able to be excited when a new e.l.f. or Wet n Wild came out because I knew I could buy 2 or 3 shades to compare for you all. Not at $18. I'm not buying 2 or 3 shades. I will say I had a hard time picking this shade because the undertone on light neutral looked very yellow to me and warm. I prefer a neutral to slightly cool undertone. Fair cool looked way too light. Light cool looks too dark. We'll find out if it is or not. But let's take a look at what they say about this. Say hello. Ha, see what you did there. To e.l.f.'s Do It All Halo Glow Skin Tint that's worth every elfing cent. Get light buildable coverage with a dewy finish plus zinc oxide mineral SPF 50 sunscreen with no white cast. It sinks in like your fave skincare. Do they really have to talk to the 12-year-old audience? Like, really? I don't know. Well, I did use the word fave the other day in Instagram. Who knows? I don't know. Whatever. Get off my lawn. It sinks in like your fave skincare for a barely there feel and naturally glowing complexion. They don't annoy me as much as some of the other writers of copy for product promotion. The details: hydrating, dewy finish, SPF 50, non-comedogenic, dermatologist tested. They've got 6 shade families with 3 undertones each. They did a cool, neutral, and warm for each one. Water resistant up to 80 minutes. Cruelty free, certified by Leaping Bunny and PETA, of course. Fair Trade USA. It does have niacinamide. Keep that in mind because everything right now seems to have niacinamide. It's usually not an ingredient that reacts with other things or has like overdose potential, but some people do get sensitive to it in large quantities. So if all of your skincare and now your foundation has niacinamide in it, you might be one of those people if you do have any issues. It's formulated without phthalates, parabens. That's a word I've never seen before. Triclosan, triclocarbon. Let's see if I can say this. Nonylphenol ethoxylates. All right, none of those in here, whatever those are. I should look that up. Maybe it's important. Anyway, let's take a look at shade 6, swatched against a few others in my collection. Swatch time. First up is today's foundation from e.l.f. the Halo Glow Skin Tint SPF 50 in shade 6, Light Cool. Second, I've got from Estee Lauder the Double Wear Stay in Place in 1C1 Cool Bone. Third up is MAC Studio Sculpt in NW15. And last, I've got from Wet n Wild the Tinted Hydrator in Fair. I've already cleansed, moisturized, and sunscreened this 50-year-old face. Yes, I do wear sunscreen as the last step of my skincare, even when my foundation has sunscreen in it, until I can confirm that with a coverage product, I'm able to put enough on my face to have the stated sunscreen amount, because with coverage products, I usually am just putting the amount of the coverage I want, not the amount that I need for sunscreen protection. I will say, however, the only one in my whole life, the only coverage sunscreen I have ever tried in my whole life that I can wear the proper amount without worrying about coverage getting weird on me is the new Merit one. We'll see, maybe this e.l.f. one is too. We're gonna find out. Because usually you can't. The coverage gets too heavy and too cakey because you applied the proper amount for sunscreen. Anyway, so I have primed. I did treat my lips with the Geek Out of Water Smoothing Lip Treatment. It's like a serum, so it's going to sink into my lips. It's not meant to be a balm. I know I'm out of stock on the tubes. I still have some in the jars on my website, but I will be restocking the tubes. I've just been lazy because they're a pain. Like, they're a real pain, but I like them, so I'm... Primer is Geek Out of Water Blue Tansy Primer. Let's try this skin tint. Now, that's a nice... Kind of like the packaging. I mean, it's plastic packaging, obviously, but that's like a hefty little cap that I'm not going to drop very easily. I don't like caps that I'm going to drop very easily. Let's get the old butterfly. Alright, let's check the consistency here. There we go. Maybe it's not going to be too dark. I don't know. Let's find out. I'm going to go in on one side of my face with a damp sponge. No, this is not too dark. The photos... I was making my decisions based on the photos on the Ulta and e.l.f. websites. And in the model photos, this looked like it was going to be too dark, but the Fair Cool looked definitely too light. So I did buy this at Ulta in person, but they did not have testers because it was just in their little limited edition display. e.l.f. has a new mascara as well. If I remember, I'm going to try it today. So stay tuned for that. Pretty sheer coverage with a sponge application. To be quite honest, I would typically just throw this all over my face with fingertips and rub it in, since it's a tint product as opposed to a super coverage product. And that's probably going to work in its favor as far as being able to put a large amount of product on. Actually, we're just going to go in with fingertips instead of a brush on this side. That's a schmear. Like, that's a thick, we're going to put the whole rest of what I did on my palette and see. See, it's a lot. Let's find out. Can we do it? I'm gonna have to probably drag some of this to the other side of my face. But is it gonna get all heavy and crazy? Let's find out. It is not massaging in very well. It does look like it's going to behave more like a foundation than like a sunscreen. Which, in that case, then I would not typically wear it as my only sunscreen. If I can't put enough product on to give me sunscreen coverage... Oh, I got it all on my eyebrows. Whoopsie. Oh gosh, that's a mess. Oh, it's all in my hair too. I did a terrible job. It gives a little bit more coverage that way, but ooh, it's really, really heavy on the skin. So I'm going to say this is not the kind of product that you can just slather on, and Merit is going to hold on to its title as the only brand that I've ever had a coverage sunscreen that I can slather on at will. Because that's looking super heavy. We're going to have to take some off. Now, when I say I do my sunscreen as part of my skincare, it has been soaking in for at least an hour at this point. I usually wait at least 15 minutes just so that that sunscreen can form its, layer on my skin before I put anything else on top of it. All right, that's looking better now that I took some of that excess off. Can we get some of it out of my hair? I don't know. Let's try. Oh, that's just gray. That's not sunscreen. That's a gray hair. Loud and proud. Is it? Yeah. Thanks, gray hair. All right, now that I've just got a wacky, unmatched amount of coverage everywhere, I used all that. I'm just gonna spot place just a little bit more. This is a pretty thin foundation, like a thin consistency. So it's a little watery, I would say. Oh, that's gonna get in my eye. Let's make sure we got the under eyes. Thank you all who encouraged me to make sure I am sunscreening my under eyes. I don't have trouble with sunscreens irritating my eyes usually, so even chemical sunscreens don't bother me. In fact, I usually prefer chemical sunscreens under my makeup. Since I've got some extra, I'm gonna take it under my chin, get my neck a little bit. Yeah, I can kind of see, ooh, that's not a cat hair even, that's my hair. I can see on my face where it's just, where too much product was clinging, you know, when you go in too heavy. So yeah, this is not a go in heavy situation. I'm gonna dab some off. So I would not wear this as your only sunscreen. Unless you can get that heaviness not to look heavy on you. But for me, it looked a little heavy when applied at sunscreen amounts. Let's get that fancy cap back on here. I do like that chunky cap. I'm alright with that packaging. Feels alright for 18 bucks, I guess. $18 for e.l.f. Oh my goodness, what is even happening? Alright. Let's get a close-up look. Not as dewy as I was expecting, considering they used that word in their description, but it is dewy. But it's not over the top. I would call this a nice dewy finish. You get the light coming in from my lights here, but you can kind of see where the reflect hits. It's not disco ball reflect. I would say it's really just coming out at the high points, which is what you would expect. Let's zoom in. Let's get you guys a look at what I'm seeing. I will say that it does look fine on my nose and around my mouth and on my chin. Nothing's looking strange. Nothing is sort of doing any gathering in pores or anything like that. It's clinging a little bit kind of around my sideburns area where, you know, that skin is just a little thicker than the rest of your face. It's not clinging between my eyebrows. It's not clinging strange on my forehead. It is settling a little bit into my deeper forehead lines on the side that I applied heavier product. So I have tapped that out a couple of times now. I'm just gonna tap out and try and get rid of any excess that might move around. Now, this does not seem to be setting down very quickly. However, I have not turned the air conditioning on yet. We went from 40 degrees to 85 degrees, just like that. So I'm trying to just have a few days before I succumb to air conditioning, because once the air comes on, it's going to be on until friggin' fall. So I'm trying to enjoy some fresh air. So it is warm in here, and it's probably 78 degrees in here. So I am warm. It is warm. It is humid. But yeah, it's not drying down super fast. So we will see if it sets down enough that it doesn't move around. I don't plan to set this with powder. So, all right, let's check the time. It is currently 12:42 p.m. Let me put the rest of my face on. I will be right back. Back with the e.l.f. skin tint. I have had to continue tapping it out of my chin lines and my forehead lines. I'm done with the tapping. It's going to settle. It's going to settle. It is what it is. But that does tell me that you're not going to be able to apply enough product to get SPF 50 and not have it move around on your face. I did not set it with powder, so we'll see how it holds up throughout the day on the rest of my face. First impression of this e.l.f. Incredicurl mascara is very good. I like it, and with mascaras I can usually tell straight away whether I'm gonna like it. So I mean, barring anything like, remember when the original Lash Paradise came out, the L'Oreal Lash Paradise, and everyone loved it, but then 3 weeks into everyone having it, the tube dried out, and then I stopped using it. But here's the wand on this one. Short of something like that happening, I would say I like this mascara because I can usually tell the first time I wear it whether I like it or not, and this one applied very nicely. On the rest of my face, we have the Balm Desert Bronzer, because it's summertime, and I love this bronzer. Got out some e.l.f. This is the primer infused blush in... I tried to remember. I tried, you guys. I'm blaming everything now on perimenopause. We're just going to go there. Always punchy. Can't remember anything. Like, anything. Brain out the window. Out the window. My eyes. Got this yesterday at Ulta when I went to get the e.l.f. from Morphe. I haven't bought Morphe products in a very, very, very long time. Years. And I always kind of wondered, like, they get this prime location in my Ulta right by the checkout, and it's like that whole aisle. And I always thought, do people really buy Morphe that much anymore since they had their, like, you know, heyday with the influencers years back, and then their drama with the influencers years back? And then I read an article a couple weeks ago about their sort of like fall from grace and, like, you know, brink of destruction situation, and how they hung in there and as a small business and sort of rebuilt everything. And I was like, maybe it's just like the whole struggling small business owner thing got to me. So when I saw these, and they have a bunch of different colorways of these eyeshadow palettes, I was like, okay, let me give it a shot. They did come with a free brush that I forgot was sitting here, so I did not use the free brush. But it's really pretty, and these shadows are really nice. So I'm wearing literally all of the shades. Oh, except for, no, I am wearing all the shades. Yep, I'm wearing all of them because I wanted to try them all out. And they all performed beautifully. And it's one of those like wet or dry kind of palettes. I used them all dry, and it's beautiful, and this packaging is gorgeous. And so, all right, Morphe, maybe I'll use you some more. Anyway, that's lovely. Wet n Wild Breakup Proof liner is my tight line. e.l.f. mascara we talked about. The Refi, whatever, however you say that. Brow gel. I need to get more of their stuff because I heard their mascara is awesome as well. Then I heard a couple other things of theirs are awesome. I just need to check out that brand some more because this is my new favorite brow product. And my lip is the shocker CoverGirl Forever Velvet Pigment in the shade, I have no idea, I think it's Pink Skies. And that's coming from my memory. Why does my memory remember that and not something I looked at moments ago? Sky's Pink. I was close. I was close. I love these things. They hold up all day. Yeah, so I just got a call from my realtor, and I am about to go meet with him to go over the draft of the lease for the retail location, which I don't know. Am I about to go sign a lease? Maybe I am. Maybe I am. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. Maybe that's why he wants to go over it in person. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so I'm about to go do that. I will get you guys a daylight check-in. And I feel like I'm forgetting something about my makeup. What else am I wearing? I don't think that's it. I think that's all the things. I feel something's missing. Even when I look at my face, did I forget to put something on my face? Why do I feel like I'm missing something? I have no idea. I told you. It's all messed up here. Things are not firing on all cylinders at all. But my eyeshadow matches my shirt. It says I'm magical. This is one of my custom designs. I made it myself. I love it because I'm magical. Okay, can you tell now I'm nervous? So I'm gonna go to my realtor's office. I'll get you guys a daylight check-in, and then I will come back tonight and give you my final thoughts. Hey guys, it is 5:21 p.m. and here is where we're at. This is the shade. I think, well, the sun's going behind a cloud. I think I can step into the sun here. Hold on. There we go. There is some sun. It is definitely a dewy finish, but it's not over the top, I would say. I think I can see redness on my nose coming through, which would speak to it not being very high coverage. But mosquitoes, I think it still looks nice. Blush seems to be holding up. Shade match seems fine. All right. Looking a little dry, but not too bad. Not too bad. I'll be back tonight and we'll see how it ends up. 9:04 p.m. Let's take a look at how the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint SPF 50 held up. I think it held up wonderfully. I figured I might as well, since we're at like the 9-hour mark-ish, do this outro because I'm having a hot flash and might as well get this done before my face melts off. The internet always says, like, whenever I search about hot flashes and menopause and whatnot, it always says things like, you know, a hot flash lasts approximately 5 minutes. Mine lasts a half hour. I'm so not into this whole thing. Not enjoying it. Not enjoying it at all. So let's talk foundation. I feel like I'm breaking out in sweat as we're sitting here. Anyway. Yeah, let's get the hair out of the way just so you can see the dewiness. It is dewy. I thought it was less dewy, but I haven't really started sweating yet, so this is all the foundation. It is warm in here, but I've been reading and sitting still for the last couple hours, so this is not sweat and exertion. This is just the foundation. I think it's a nice amount of dewiness. I don't think it's over the top. I do like the finish quite a bit. I'm getting my first good look in the mirror here, and it's kind of broken apart along movement lines, like along my smile lines and like my Meredith Grey wrinkle over here. Not so much around forehead, nothing weird between my eyebrows. It held up okay. I would say it's close to the end of its useful life. It's not a high coverage product to begin with. I would call it, you know, the low end of light coverage. Not quite sheer though. It is a little bit of coverage, but I'd say it's probably about, you know, this 9-ish hour mark is probably about all it's got in it. It's probably end of its life situation. Let's zoom in so you guys can see what I see. I did not have to blow my nose today, shocker, although that's the first thing I'm going to do when I stop filming. So anything missing on my nose is just product disappearing. It did cake up a little bit around my nostrils, kind of breaking apart on my chin and around my mouth, you know, the movement areas of my face. But blush and bronzer still look pretty well intact, so the degradation has been fairly graceful, I would say. It's not caking up between my eyebrows, which is a common place for that to happen for me. It didn't settle any more into the lines on my forehead, though you can see it a little bit in there. Not too bad as far as settling goes. Just a smidge, I would say, into deeper lines, because it did not settle into my crow's feet, just my chin line and my forehead lines, which are the deeper of them. So, and I don't feel any more dry than I did before. I feel just a tiny smidge drier than when I started, so I don't think it's quite keeping up with my levels of dehydration throughout the day, but not bad. So I think if you have dry skin, it's fine. If you have maturing skin, it settles a little bit into the deeper wrinkles, but nothing drastic, nothing that would prevent me from wearing it. But like I said earlier, I would definitely wear it in conjunction with sunscreen if you are going to spend any time outdoors, because I don't think you can apply the full amount of sunscreen and still have coverage that looks nice and not heavy or cakey. So just be aware of that. If I had to give a grade to the e.l.f. Halo Glow Skin Tint, I'm going to go A-. I like it. It's fine. Now that I've got the Merit to compare to, like, they knocked that out of the park, and so it's going to be tough for me to not judge. I used to just believe that you never could wear a coverage sunscreen product on its own because you couldn't apply enough of it, and now I've been proven wrong. So that's a higher bar has been set for this kind of a product. But I do like it. I think it's nice. I think it feels nice. I think it looks nice. And I think the shades on the website are pretty hard to decide because this is much lighter than the shade looked like in the model photos on the web, which seems to be, that's been happening lately. Like, it's always been hard to guess your shades online, but I used to be able to tell pretty well from swatches and model photos. But anyway, we're going to go A-. I like it. I like it. I'll wear it. That's where I'm at with that one. Have you tried it yet? Can you get it at your local stores? Have you seen it? I haven't seen it in CVS yet, but I did pick mine up at Ulta, and it was a freshly put out display. Only a couple were missing, so it should be rolling out soon. If you don't have it near you already, let me know in the comments. What do you want to see next? I keep running lists. I buy stuff whenever I can. Oh, should I give you the update on... I didn't sign the lease yet because I'm waiting for it to get sent to me digitally for the DocuSign thing. But we went over the lease. We agreed on everything. Yeah, when it comes, I'm going to sign it. So I'll keep you posted. The first place I've been posting all this stuff is over on my Patreon. So if you follow me over there, you'll see my updates over there. There you have it. As always, thanks a lot for taking some time out of your day to geek out over makeup with me. Hi, Ziva. I did not see you get up there. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care of each other. Bye-bye.